Hi, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming out here to support Divest Smith College. My name is Jessica Brown, and I'm a student organizer with Divest. I want to start this rally with a land acknowledgement. This land is the ancestral homeland of the Pecumtucks and the Nipmucks, who were massacred by European settlers using purposeful infection with smallpox and other forms of genocide. We also acknowledge the indigenous people among us in the Smith student body and the Wampanoag to the east, the Abenaki to the north, and the Haudenosaunee to the east. It is a privilege to live, learn, and to protest on this land. To fight climate change, we need to decolonize. Climate change affects us all, but it does not affect us all equally. We're here today on Smith campus because the Board of Trustees is meeting all day right here. This morning, they announced that they will divest the $100 million we have in fossil fuels. Today, the board has voted yes to divest. But the work isn't done, and the fight for climate justice is not over. Today, we're still going to hear from an amazing lineup of speakers who have been with us the whole way to victory. Climate Action Now, Nuclear Ban US, Sunrise Northampton, Extinction Rebellion, and multiple student activists will be speaking. We have so much more work to do, and my colleagues will speak later on that. But before we go ahead, I do want to celebrate the work of all my colleagues real quick. Everyone here who's part of Divest has put 110% into making this happen. To all of you, we put our all into this rally and everything in the 8 years leading up to this day. So to my amazing, passionate, committed colleagues, thank you. Thank you to all the Smith students who are here. Thank you to our supporters from Climate Action Now, the Sunrise Movement, other college and university divestment groups, the Resistance Center for Peace and Justice, Nuclear Ban US, and of course Extinction Rebellion Western Mass. So, who's ready to get started? Right. Maeve.
I'm here.
That's a good idea.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming. So, let's see. Which song to teach? Cool. Okay. So, my musicians, Claire and Abigail, this is very last minute. If you would like to run up here and join me, feel free, but I didn't let you know that this was happening right now. So we're going to learn the second song if you have a sheet. Find a neighbor that has the song if you want to share. So it's the one that starts, "The People Gonna Rise." And I'll sing a line, and if you know the song, please sing along with me, and then we'll just repeat it back. All right. The people gonna rise like the water, gonna calm this. Okay. We have to repeat it for those who don't know. All right, ready? We'll try that again. Repeat the first line. All right. The people gonna rise like the water. The people gonna rise like the water. Gonna calm this crisis down. Gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter. Singing, keeping in the ground. Singing,
people gonna rise like the water, gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying keep it in the ground.
Again,
The people gonna rise like the water, gonna calm this crisis down. I hear the voice of my great-granddaughter saying keep it in the ground.
all right, thank you all so much. Who is next? Dana. Thank you, Maeve. My name is Dana Berry. I've worked on this campaign since 2016, and I had planned to speak today about the history of our 8-year campaign. I plan to express disappointment in our need to exist for so long, to have asked the same questions over and over, and to have struggled to work with the administration. That is why I'm thrilled to be speaking today with different news. This morning, Smith announced their plan to divest from fossil fuels in 2 parts. First, to direct our endowment manager to exclude Smith from future investments in fossil fuels. And second, to begin an immediate phase out of current fossil fuel investments over the next 15 years. Their definition of fossil fuel companies includes oil, gas, and coal. It includes equipment, services, mining, and pipelines. It is an inclusive definition, but as always, it needs to be expanded. Smith acknowledged today that this decision came from work with our investment manager, the Advisory Committee on Investor Responsibility, the Study Group on Climate Change, and of course, Divest's requests over the last 2 years specifically. I want to reinforce that this decision did not come purely out of fiscal responsibility. It did not come only from the decline of fossil fuel returns or as a gift to us from the administration. This decision came out of 8 years of student activism, from the work of students past and present, and from the relentless pressure we have placed on the administration together. We will not allow Smith to take credit for the accomplishments of students because the choice to divest cannot only be about money. It must center the necessity of stigmatizing the fossil fuel industry, with standing with those most affected by climate change, and with recognizing the undeniable power of student activism. Our work here is not done. Today, this is what we demand of Smith administration. We demand that they divest all holdings from the fossil fuel industry, not in 15 years, but by 2025. We demand that they reinvest with input from the Smith community. We demand full transparency with the student body about Smith investments. We demand that they prioritize student involvement throughout the divestment and reinvestment process. And we demand that, in part with divestment, that they declare a climate emergency. Students must continue to be at the table throughout this process to guide reinvestment and ensure that Smith expedites their timeline for phasing out fossil fuel investments. We still need communication between students and the administration. We still want more than has been offered to us. We still need a voice in our future. Thank you to everyone who has come out today and everyone who has supported us over the last 8 years. We are excited to celebrate with you, but we are also excited to continue working. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brooke Studdard, and I'm also a member of Divest. And I'm here to announce our next speaker. Their name is Urbeen Sobelman from Climate Action Now, and we're really grateful that people from around the community have agreed to speak at our rally. Urbeen is a longtime activist for peace and justice who lives in Northampton. Irving currently serves on Climate Action Now's steering committee. Give it up for Irving.
Thank you, Brooke. Can you hear me? Good. So the first thing I want to say is congratulations, Divest Smith. I wrote some comments last night and then I looked at them this morning and they were actually still about right. I just had to remove some of the things about not knowing what the result would be. So I'm here representing Climate Action Now. We're a people-powered, all-volunteer, grassroots organization dedicated to building a powerful, unstoppable climate movement. We work in our community and in collaboration with diverse partners across the region to educate, advocate, and mobilize for climate justice. At Climate Action Now, we know, as all of you do here today, that we are living in a moment of climate emergency, and that nothing short of transformative change is adequate to this moment. And today we're here because we care, every one of us, deeply about climate justice, about our present, about our future, and about preserving a livable planet for all. And we're here today in celebration of a major step toward challenging business as usual in our community. At the same time, we also know there is no one silver bullet. It truly takes all of us, all of our courage, all of our creativity, and all of our passion to do what needs to be done. We at Climate Action Now stand here in community with these dynamic student organizers and with the persons of conscience on the Smith College Board of Trustees who took this important step today. How thrilling to see the fruits of your efforts. And even with this outcome, I know that this work, our shared work to preserve a livable planet for all, will continue. Thank you, and thank you.
Right, next we have Emma Friedman speaking. Next we have a guest musician. If Abigail would come to the front. Yes, Abigail is coming to play us a song.
So this is a song that's about the complex questions that still need to be addressed, and keeping that momentum going. It has a chorus that you can sing along with if you like the song. Yeah. Okay, here. But I'll sing it slowly the first time. It's at the beginning and then a lot at the end. It goes, what you gonna do, 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 when the land goes under the water. And it's by Bagel Suck and Abigail Watcher. So, yeah. So, but you can sing along. Sorry, it's outdoors. Yeah, what you gonna do, 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 when the land goes under the water. Can't go east, can't go west, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, black tide's coming in to do the rest, when the land goes under the water. Ain't gonna What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Don't live for money when it comes for you. When the land goes under the water. What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do when the land goes under the water? What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do when the land goes under the water? What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do when the land goes under the water? What you gonna do? 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 What you gonna do when the land goes under the water? Land goes under the water.
All right, now Emma's speaking. That was beautiful. Thank you, Abigail.
Thank you, Abigail. So my name is Emma Friedman, and I am a student organizer with Divest. Last semester, we wrote a referendum question for the Student Government Association's spring election. 1,078 students voted yes on fossil fuel divestment. That's 92% of the student voters who said yes to divest. Today, the Board of Trustees has heard our demand and announced their plan for divestment from the fossil fuel industry. But they haven't fulfilled all of our demands. They have not announced any concrete steps towards increasing transparency. We met with the Advisory Committee on Investor Responsibility yesterday, and while they were enthusiastic to hear from us, they stayed behind veils on what they had actually been working on. They have not released plans on increasing transparency. The college has still not declared a climate emergency, a critical step in acknowledging the need for immediate action. Finally, a 15-year divestment plan is not rapid enough. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's 2018 report gives us 11 years to bring our fossil fuel usage down to zero. We only have 11 years to rework our global economy. Smith needs to take rapid action to be a responsible member of the global community and of our local community as well, because climate change doesn't affect us all equally. Fossil fuel companies target communities of color and low-income folks who climate change disproportionately affects. So, we're here today not only to celebrate the steps Smith has taken in the right direction, but also to hold Smith accountable for the work that still needs to be done. Smith is still complicit.
All right, our next guest speaker is Vicki Elson from Nuclear Ban US, an organization working to ban nuclear weapons both in the United States and around the world. We have collaborated multiple times in the past to discuss the similarities between divestment from nuclear weapons and divestment from the fossil fuel industry. Please welcome Vicki.
So nuclearban.us is part of the international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons, winner of the 2017 Nobel Peace Prize. These are not amateurs. Smith College has made an excellent choice to divest from fossil fuels, to reduce its carbon footprint, and to prioritize education about the climate crisis and what to do about it. And you, Smith Divest, you know what to do about it. And you've done it. You'll keep doing it. Thank you so much for that. You are right to demand that your college behaves in accordance with the moral imperative to protect your future. Here's to Smith College setting a shining example of sanity and responsible for the future so far. I've been working with Yale, and it's like pulling teeth down there. Smith's divestment will make it so much easier to get other institutions on board. Do we have people from other institutions here today? Yay, where are you from? Oh, nope, just raising a hand. Okay. But there's another divestment project for Smith. We're faced with not one, but two man-made emergencies: the climate crisis and nuclear weapons. 4 days before she died at age 100, our beloved legendary local activist Frances Crowe, you know Frances? She made me promise to talk to President McCartney about divesting Smith from both fossil fuels and nuclear weapons. And I'm a person of my word, so I will do that. And we will all do that. Both emergencies have their roots in greed and profiteering. Both are climate issues. Global warming is obvious all around us, and nuclear winter is silently possible in every moment. Crops failing under a darkened sky full of soot, radioactive fallout, raining down on what's left of allies and enemies alike. Both emergencies require big, bold, uncompromising action on a very large scale. So, the good news: when life gives us man-made emergencies, we make feminist solutions. And we have them. An evolving Green New Deal that must radically cut greenhouse gas emissions while working toward economic and environmental justice. And, wonderfully, the Nuclear Ban Treaty, also known as the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, which prohibits everything to do with nuclear weapons, including investing in them. As it happens, the Green New Deal needs the Nuclear Ban Treaty because it will be hard to do much about the climate without the money, the brain power, and the international goodwill we're currently squandering on nuclear weapons of mass extinction. So, you might be interested in our new report. There it is. Warheads to Windmills, How to Pay for a Green New Deal. There are a few copies and some buttons and bumper stickers and handouts and things over there if you're interested. We explored, when we wrote the report, how we need the federal funding to shift from nuclear weapons to green technologies, and it turns out it's about the same amount of money. Even more urgently, we need the scientists and engineers currently tied up in the nuclear weapons industry to help solve the urgent technical challenges of green technologies. Our research found that it's a lot of the same skills, a lot of the same degrees, a lot of the same people, even in a lot of the same places. If you're a STEM student, thank you for keeping that in mind. STEM students, scientists, mathematicians, engineers. And even if we do everything perfectly in the USA, to meet the IPCC targets, we need unprecedented international cooperation, which will be so much easier when the top greenhouse gas emitting countries on the planet stop threatening each other with nuclear annihilation. There are 4 crucial ingredients needed to get where we need to go. 1, we need to create and respect and rejoin international treaties like the Paris Climate Agreement, which, as you know, needs updating, and the Nuclear Ban Treaty. 2, we need legislation like Representative Eleanor Holmes Norton's bill that would move the federal money from doomsday machines to green machines. You can ask your federal legislators to co-sponsor Norton 2419. I'm going to say that again because it really needs co-sponsors. Wherever you live in the country, wherever you're from, wherever your friends are, tell them to contact their federal legislators to co-sponsor Norton HR 2419. It's beautiful. 3, we need you to support legislation. We all need to support legislation and treaties with huge popular movements. We need you, Extinction Rebellion, Sunrise Movement, Greta Thunberg, Climate Action Now, Resource Center for Peace and Justice. We need activists everywhere in the streets demanding real change, and I am so heartened to see this happening. 4, we need pressure on the profiteering corporations who, let's face it, own our politicians. We have to get their attention with divestment and boycotts. And we have to let them know that their precious public relations are sullied by participating in stigmatized industries like burning fossil fuels and building nuclear weapons. We don't necessarily want these corporations to fail. We just want them to convert their resources to making products that sustain life. Smith, Divest, you're the best. That's my poem for today. Congratulations and keep going.
Our next speaker is going to be Claire McCoy, a Smith student and organizer with Sunrise Northampton. If you haven't heard of the Sunrise Movement, you're about to hear about it. Let's welcome Claire.
Hi, this is such an amazing event. Oh my gosh, thank you so much to Divest for all your hard work in getting us here today. Congratulations. It's my mic. It's mine. Okay, yeah. Talk louder?
Yeah.
Great. Yay. Okay. This is such a cool event. Thank you, Divest, for all your work and for asking me to speak on behalf of Sunrise. My name is Claire. I'm a senior at Smith. I use she, her pronouns. Congratulations, Divest. I'm so grateful for all the work you've done. And thank you to XR for coming out and all the other local orgs who are supporting this today. So I can talk a little bit about what the Sunrise Movement is. I'm a part of the local Sunrise Northampton chapter, which belongs to the nationwide Sunrise Movement. It's a youth-led climate activist organization across the nation. And Sunrise's mission is to make climate change an urgent priority across America, end the corrupting influence of fossil fuel executives on our politics, and elect leaders who stand up for the health and well-being of all people. And that mission aligns so well with the demands for and commitments to divestment being made at colleges and universities across the country, just like here at Smith. And those demands are coming in a moment of urgency around the need for climate action that's really unlike anything we've seen before. As you all know, and as Em mentioned, in October of 2018, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change released a report finding that we had 12 years to drastically cut emissions in order to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. A year later, that means we have until 2030 to prevent irreversible shifts in the Earth's natural systems that would have deeply catastrophic consequences. So I think that such a critical moment in our history demands each of us, individuals and institutions, to ask ourselves what we can do and how we can leverage whatever privilege or resources we have so that in 11 years we can look back and say we stood for what was right. For me, that means joining Sunrise and majoring in environmental science and policy. For a college like Smith, that means putting your money where your mouth is and divesting from the fossil fuel industry. So excited to learn this morning that Smith agrees that it's time to act with integrity and accountability by divesting, especially during this themed year on climate change. It's really time.
Finally.
Yes, finally, past time. I know that we will continue to need to hold Smith and other institutions accountable as the divestment process moves forward, and I'm really excited to see where this momentum can take us. And if the answer to what you can do in this critical moment feels like it might be getting involved more in climate activism, don't hesitate to check out the Sunrise Movement. I'm a senior, and I just joined this semester, so it's really never too late. Some of the work that Sunrise has done in the past includes organizing a sit-in at Nancy Pelosi's office to push for a Green New Deal. They collaborated with AOC on that. It's really cool. They've also been pressuring the DNC to hold a presidential debate on climate change. And locally here in Northampton, Sunrise Northampton just worked in September with other groups in Western Mass to send 14 buses to the Boston climate strike. If you just Google Sunrise Northampton, it will actually just tell you what time the sun comes up. But if you Google Sunrise Movement Northampton, it will take you to our website and our Facebook page. Way better. Yeah, that is all I have to say. Thank you again to Divest.
Thank you, Claire. And just to introduce myself again, my name is Brooke, and I'm a new member of Divest, and I just wanted to give a few words on my impression of today and just what I learned about the divestment campaign overall. What divestment means to me is both holding ourselves accountable and the institutions accountable, because there can be no room anymore for being complicit in this global climate crisis. Today we're recognizing also that holding ourselves accountable does not mean shaming each other over the use of plastic straws. It means organizing and holding institutions accountable. It means 8 years of activism on the part of Divest Smith College to finally reach the decision that was broadcasted today. Today, I am really proud to call myself a Smithy, and that Smith is finally aligning its money with its morals. Today is definitely a reason for celebration. And it's also a day where we're vowing to continue focusing our energies on finding solutions to the climate crisis. We will ensure that Smith's present commitment to fully divest does become a reality. Our work will not be done until every single dollar of the endowment is reinvested. We are optimistic. Things can and they will change. Thank you. I'd like to now invite Adri Rose. We're inviting Adri. Adri is a first-year ADA and organizer with Extinction Rebellion, Massachusetts. We would not have been able to hold this rally without Extinction Rebellion and the work of Adri and other organizers. Adri and her children have been incredible collaborators in making this event happen, and we're really grateful to work with them. Please give it up for Adri.
Hey y'all! So I'm Adri, as you heard. I'm here both as a Smithy and as an organizer for Extinction Rebellion Western Mass. What a beautiful day to all get to be together and celebrate and also continue to move forward together as a united movement.
Hell yeah!
So, Extinction Rebellion, in case you haven't heard, it's possible, is a global uprising of citizens all across the world demanding immediate, accountable institution action in response to the climate crisis. We're here today, each and every one of us, because we understand that business as usual equals death. We also understand that there would be no Smith endowment, there would be no wealth in America without stolen lands and stolen labor. Climate justice has to include the end of racism and indigenous sovereignty at the front and the center. So here in Western Massachusetts, Extinction Rebellion has 5 demands, and we are talking with all of the 5 colleges to meet these demands. Some of them will sound a little similar. We've got some overlaps, which is great. Number 1, tell the truth. All 5 colleges must declare a state of climate emergency immediately. Number 2, act now. this is an emergency. The colleges must develop comprehensive plans with community input for complete divestment and carbon neutrality by 2025. Community leadership. There must be a 5-college body composed of students, staff, faculty, and community stakeholders to develop and oversee the plans for responding to the climate emergency. Number 4, pursue a just transition. Mitigation and adaptation efforts must prioritize the people on our campuses and in our communities who are the most vulnerable to the immediate and long-term impacts of the climate crisis. This includes young people, people of the global majority, indigenous peoples, and poor communities. Number 5, we must prepare our students for the future that they will be living in. All students must be educated on environmental science and how the climate emergency will affect their lives, their careers, and the lives of all other people on the planet. So let's take a moment, and I want you to turn to 2 people next to you, preferably 2 people you don't know yet. Tell them your name, and tell them, I'm so glad to be here with you today. All right, will y'all lift up your voices with me? Ready? Tell the truth! 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 Rebel for life! 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 Despair ends! Tactics ends! Tactics begin! Tactics begin! Despair ends! Despair ends! Tactics begin! Tactics begin! Thank you all so much.
Now we'd like to invite Maeve again for another song break.
So, since there are some new faces, I'll introduce myself. My name's Maeve. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a junior here at Smith. And so if you don't have a sheet, again, feel free to share. We're going to do the 3rd song on your sheet if you have it. There might be some copies on the ground near the food as well. And I learned this song from an incredible organizer up in Vermont named Heidi Wilson. Just give a shout out. So again, I'll sing the first line. You can all repeat it back to me. We are the rising of the moon.
We are the rising of the moon.
We are the shifting of the ground.
We are the shifting of the ground.
We are the seeds that take root.
We are the seeds that take root.
As we tear the fortress down.
As we tear the fortress down.
Do you think we can put that all together? Yeah. All right. Ready?
We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seeds that take root. As we tear the fortress down. We are the rising of the moon. We are the shifting of the ground. We are the seeds that take root. As we tear the fortress down. We are the rising
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Wookie, and I'm a student organizer with Divest Smith College. I'd also just like to say that I'm wrapping everything up, so hang tight. We're almost done. Just a few things. To begin, I'd just like to point out that climate justice work is not something that any of us come to naturally, and it's no one's life plan. This fight is obviously born out of necessity. The climate crisis is a crisis of global magnitude, one that mostly white, mostly male, intolerant racists and colonists have forced upon the rest of us. We have expressed a range of emotions, not only today, but over the span of 8 years. Today being specifically celebration and excitement, but also anger and frustration. And in order to be productive organizers and productive activists, we have to honor these feelings. Victims of climate injustice need to be angry. We have been numb to atrocity for too long. And to that, we say no more. I ask that we turn to hope. We will no longer allow lives to be exploited for profit, and if the administration keeps to their word, neither will Smith. And as we continue to try to find hope, we look to the activists who have come before us. Middlebury College, our peer institution, a school that invests with the same firm as us, committed to divest last year and reinvest in just transition, in a just transition that we too seek. And it's important to recognize that Middlebury acting as an institution would not have happened without years of student organizing, just like today. We also have to acknowledge SSJIC, which is the Smith Student for Justice and Institutional Change, whose protests last semester caused the administration to acknowledge some of their demands and make this institution more equitable for students who hold marginalized identities, and it also made all of us just a little bit more brave. And now we look to us. We hope that our incessant push for divestment has created a pathway for other students to voice concerns about Smith's endowment and about where our money is put. We hope that now students can push for divestment from all forms of injustice. SSJIC is working on private prison divestment, so contact them if you're interested. And look to all the other groups that we're working with today who all seek to dismantle structures of oppression. Find them, draw inspiration from them, ask them about their careers, learn and grow with them. You're all important and crucial to this fight. Together, we can work for a just future. So as we kind of close this out today, I'd just like to acknowledge that climate injustice and this kind of environmental work and any activism is really, really exhausting. So please take care of yourselves and acknowledge the feelings that you might be feeling, but also don't let them hold you back. And turn to each other and connect with people. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you don't know what to do, or you have little power against these people who seem to make all our decisions for us. So organizing is really important. Also, we have more food in the back for anyone who's interested. And if you'd like to sign up, we have a thermometer over here that we're asking Smith students to sign if you support us in this campaign. It represents the 92% of students who voted last semester. We're wrapping it up, and also if you want to find any of the Divest members who have spoken or who are wearing orange, please contact us and get on our mailing list because we need you now more than ever. DivestSmithCollege@gmail.com.